So here we are going live. We're in the 2-5 on the cross of explanation. When people read the heading for this line, they truly do not understand. Perhaps now they can understand. The energy to beguile in many ways is to fool youthful folly, to beguile to succeed despite ignorance. In other words, if we take this into the context of looking at of the pattern of duality, that is going to be in the incarnative purpose and theme, that you can see very clearly that there is no way that you're ever going to figure it out. There's no formula. You can beguile and succeed. You can fool people and you can fool yourself. It's like the person who falls in love. Fool, don't misunderstood me. The whole pattern is set up the way. And the very fact that they think love is simply a way in which translate what is happening to them in movement in space. Somebody has showed up. You're flying all alone. And all of a sudden somebody zooms up beside you. That's love. What to do? They not only zoom up, they don't zoom away. There's nothing along with you. There you are. I'm in love. Yeah. Well, okay, if you say so. But then again, if you think that and you beguile yourself, you'll succeed because after all, might as well think of it in that way. Why not? It's one of the way of hoping that you can cross that barrier. It's one of the jokes about being in love with love. I'm in love with love. I think that's wonderful to be in love with love. But the moment that somebody else is in that picture, it's them and love and me. And it's always in the middle because it's never direct. It can be direct. There is no direct. There is a medium. And basically, what the formula says, it's called this medium, this case, acceptance. So we can see that love can be pleasure. Duality can be pleasure. Duality can be acceptance. Duality can bring irresponsibility. Duality can bring the liar. Duality can bring seduction. Duality brings excess. The lines of the four just moving along. And you can see the formula, it's going to express those larger themes. So when you get to the two of acceptance, the recognition of limitation in oneself and others leads to tolerance and the suspension of judgment. I expect that you are flying information with me. And so we suspend all judgment because I'm going to call this love. That's my formula. Why not? After all, if I can't win, you can hope. If I can beat the game, you can still try to do your best. It's the whole thing about duality. With duality, we're always trying to do our best because we know in the end we will be rewarded with death. And we know in the end that if we all work hard, we will come to an end. We get out of it. Hell, they're going to die too. There's even vengeance in the whole thing. 40 years of cooking, man. I'll go and I'll be out, and so will you, baby. It's the children they care about. God forbid they go first. Your whole thing is destroyed. Ah, it's so funny. I love the movie. Think about how powerful these two four can be in teaching acceptance, because of course for them you can see that all second lines acceptance is one of the most difficult things. You go to a second line profile's house, they don't want to touch anything. The second line beings need to be called to love, but need to be calling out. They need to be called into the play, into the drama. It's all drama. We don't write stories about relationships. First we have that have no drama. They all have drama. There's in fact no such thing as a mundane relationship. There's always tension, there's always struggle, there's always problems, there's always differences. It's always there. It's human beings that get fucked up or by that because they think it's their responsibility or the others. And then you get into the whole thing about blame and shame and guilt and fault and this and that and blah blah blah. It's so boring. Human beings whine so much. The not self is a whining machine. I'm so unhappy. Yeah. Stuff it. It's not my fault you're unhappy. It's not even your fault that you're unhappy, you idiot. There are kinds of people that even if they woke up, they just whine in a better tone. Human beings are really expected. Everything is expected by the way they want it, and when it's not, they're upset, and then they think they're doing something about it. It's like you're in charge of a person that is flying beside you. What an arrogance. Think of the arrogance of that. You're flying along with somebody and they say to you, change. What do you mean change? I'm flying over here. You're flying over there. Stay out of my face. I'm over here. You can't occupy the same space as me. You don't have no idea what I am. I'm not changing. I am. Period. Passengers can't stand duality. Your personality crystal, your passenger looks at the vehicle playing out all of this partnership dance bullshit, all of this stuff that the machine do. It's machine work. Fucking is machine work. Anybody with any kind of consciousness who rises above their sexuality in any given moment will start to laugh. Machines do funny things. The things these machines for machines. It's really insane. And then they're trained to like it, like dogs chasing after bone. The personality inside is going, this is nuts. I don't want to do that. Stucky, wet, dirty, smelly. The personality says, this is machine stuff. The machines do that. I'm not a machine. When this box does it, what the machine does, I'm not going to get involved in that. I don't want to sleep down, step down that level. It's not a movie. You don't even get to enjoy the movie if you're stuck down at that level. That's where everybody is. They're also deeply identified with their lives, with their bodies, with their vehicles, with their excrement, with anything. It's mine. It's like the great scene from Nemo. Mine, mine, mine. All these seagulls looking at this fish. Mine, mine, mine. It's my body. It's my life. It's mine. It's my choice. My this, my that. And then you wonder what happens to people in a relationship. Fine. Right, sure. You're flying over there and I'm flying over here. Do you understand that? Can you ever understand that? You're flying over here, there, I'm flying over here. And the fact that we see each other doesn't mean I'm yours, I'm mine. You're over there, flying over there, you're over there. Because it's the reality, human beings, the identification with the not self, with the things that they don't know how it works. If they were in charge and they would be a minute, they would die in a millisecond, they have no idea. And yet they think they're in charge of everything, their lives, their decision, their this, their that, blah, blah, blah. It's insane. And the fourth gate, it's there. And it says we have to make it logical. We have to work out a formula. The abstract side says it's a roller coaster. This is okay. The abstract side says, hey, this is interesting. You say to an emotional person, you can never be one with the other and they nod their head. You say to a logical person, you can never be one with the other and they scratch their head. It's totally different. The abstract knows it's all insane. We're set up. The formula is primitive and we build in for monkeys. It was built for Homo erectus, for God's sake. Homo erectus was living in this program. Homo erectus still couldn't figure it out. My dog is pretty good compared to Homo erectus. We're still in that program. The only thing is that we don't scratch ourselves the same way anymore. It's true. People forget that. It's primitive programming. These are primitive vehicles. The moment that you wrap into this modern esoteric mystical movements that began in the 1970s, a lot of from England, and this movement and the synthesis of basically Western Roman Teutonic mythologies with Indo-European mythologies, and you get all that stuff flowing out. All of them talked about the same dilemma, and it's a dilemma. We have a development of consciousness because we are at the end of a round. We're coming to the end of a round, and it means that our consciousness, for many in the fractal or layer, or maybe 100 million people on this planet out of the 9 billion, where consciousness is really in conflict with the form. It's like the ability for modern humanness to be able to say generally in that collective that we shouldn't be killing each other because of this or that color or religion. There's an aspect of our consciousness that would like to see the nature of being, and it's totally different from the way in which our vehicles work. At the same time, that you can collectively, intellectually say that you would like to live in a peace with your brother. If your peace doesn't, if your brother doesn't smell right at a visceral level, at your splenic level, you're really to kill them anyway because our bodies are different. These are killer monkey vehicles. It's what we do. Pissed. Everybody knows that. There was never been a species on this planet that kills better, and now it's really legitimized. We are killing species. We're vicious. These vehicles are vicious. My consciousness isn't. My passenger is not vicious. My passenger doesn't have a body. My passenger has rented one. It's just passing through. It's just watching this time around. And inside of the killer monkey vehicle, if you do not separate yourself from its life, there's nowhere to go. You're described into the horror of the form. You're the lucky ones who know that. Most of the world is caught in the horror of this form, starving, disenfranchised, in despair. 1 billion people who don't have access to fresh water. 3 billion people who don't make more than €1 a day. This is a horrible place. This is a killer monkey land. This is where everybody's killing everybody else, whereas everybody is taking from everybody else. Come on, see it for what it is. You want to be connected to it. You want to be connected to that. Identify with that. That's the whole point. And at the very heart and soul of this, upon which everything is building, is this damn duality. And this name, damn, in the name of duality, the not self launches itself into everything. War is an ugliness and pain. You can't even have a peaceful life because you've got somebody flying beside you, bitching in your face. You can't even get a ride men, crowded bus, people yelling, what a world. So you can see that the dilemma of the fourth gate, what the hell, what are we going to do? What kinds of formula can you come up from this duality? And then you begin to understand something about the way in which our societies have developed. That everybody about our societies began with the basic dilemma: how do we maintain duality as an infrastructure for growth? How do we keep people together so that they can bring children into the world and nurture them? And of all these things about organization, most people, when they come to design and they see the 1762, the chain of organization, they really relate to it simply collectively organizing functions. If this is really a sort of separate form from underlying deep motive, just the collective wanting to organize the world, which in and of itself is an arrogance. And nonetheless, you have to understand the basis of it. The logical mind is driven to organize because it's recognized that it can control the outcome of a bonding, and it's trying to find patterns that will provide with some kind of way that bonding hopefully could have some into the future. Then we go to the 3-5.